So Galen announced there are going to be new balance changes on April 26th. That is 4 days from now, next Tuesday, as of the making of this video, and I'm really excited about it. We're going to go over the wild changes real quick, and then mostly go into standard. Wild. Kael'thas is being reverted to every third spell costs 1 instead of 0, like it has been for the past couple of weeks. And Zeddy's made multiple videos about this, and made a Twitter video where he basically OTK'd someone turn 2 and was like, this isn't even that hard to do. So if you want more information on Wild and Kael'thas specifically, check Zeddy out. But Switcheroo is banned. I'm assuming it's just because the stats are highly abusable in Wild, with so many minions and so many battle cries and so many ways to like copy minions. Switcheroo is just too powerful, and this is aimed to protect the long-term health of the format, which I think is important, because if you left these things untouched, Wild would just be basically unplayable. But now we're getting into standard, which is the thing I play, what I'm an expert in. And the first nerf is, everybody's gonna be happy about this, standard. Pirate Warrior questline is getting an additional number in its final step. So it's going to go from 332 pirates to 333 pirates. And this is actually huge, because comment below if this has happened to you even once, if not a ton of times. Turn 7, they play a 2-drop pirate and then Rokara to finish their quest. And it just feels really bad to get to turn 7 against a quest warrior. And when they got 3 new 2-drop pirates with the 2/3 dredge, the amalgam, and the 3/2 dredge that gives a minion or weapon +1/+1. And the fact that they have dredge to guarantee pirates on top of their deck now. With all that taken into consideration, Quest Warrior just became too consistent, and with the coin, you'd finish it turn 6, and without the coin, you'd oftentimes finish it turn 7, and then get the infinite value. So, delaying the quest by about 1 turn, because now that you have to play 1 more pirate, you're not going to play Rokara turn 7 anymore, sometimes not even with the coin. By delaying it by about a turn, this actually is huge, because aggro decks have 1 more turn to basically try to finish off the warrior before, you know, having a 7/7 slammed down and having to deal with a ton of cannonballs and pirates. But also control decks have 1 more turn to set up their defenses, gain a little bit of armor, heal up a little bit, because the turn 7 from warrior is going to be fairly weak, right? What are they going to do with the extra mana that they usually have? They usually have 5 mana to play Rokara. Now it's going to be like 2-drop pirate, just hero power pass. It's going to be huge for a lot of decks. Puffer Fist is losing an HP, going from 3/4 to 3/3. Isn't really a big deal. A lot of the times, Puffer Fist was used more for its ability. And yes, the nerf is important, don't get me wrong. It helps nerf Pirate Warrior. It was a really good card in general, a 3-mana 3/4 that could do 1 damage to everything, sometimes multiple times in a given turn if you're playing Demon Hunter with the multiple attacks card. It could be extremely strong, so nerfing it to 3 health means that it's easier to remove, whereas before it would like stick on the board for sometimes 1 to 2 turns, depending on like the deck you were playing and removal the opponent had. So the nerf definitely means something, but you're still going to use it for its ability. Rogue is still going to play it, give it poisonous, and wipe the board. So it's going to get a little bit of a hit, but it's still going to remain very strong, and its core values are going to stay the same. Next, we have Switcheroo is only going to swap health instead of all stats, and that's going to make sure that the Switcheroo combo is just the one where you play Deathwing and the Twin Fin, Wind Twin, or something like that. Twin Fin, Fin Twin, something like that. The Murloc that makes a copy of itself and did well with the Switcheroo combo to make 2 12/12s. That's going to be nerfed, and it's only going to get 12 HP and 2 attack. You could still maybe run Bless in this combo, but you're not going to get it on both minions anymore. It's going to be significantly worse than it was, and it's not going to be like turn 3 or 4, depending on whether or not you have the coin. You can just win the game if you get the combo. It just felt really toxic to play against, so I'm glad that they nerfed it. Next is Miracle Growth is going from 7 mana to 8, which is big, because now on a couple of turns, a lot of the time they play it for 7 mana and then Earthen Scales, turn 8, or for 8 mana, because Druid sometimes has 8 mana before turn 8 because of Ramp Druid. But now they have to wait 1 more turn, or need 1 more mana to actually pull this off. So in a couple of niche situations, it might die to aggro. It's now a little bit harder to refill the hand, because if you don't have Scale of Onyxia, usually you'd play this turn 7 instead, especially into an aggro deck. But now you're not able to do that for 7 mana. So your 7 mana play might be a little bit less consistent. Scale of Onyxia is still very good and is going to be the go-to play against aggro. But again, since you're not able to draw extra cards for 7 mana, your consistency of drawing Scale of Onyxia also goes down because you have less draw, which across the board means that this Miracle Growth change is decent. I don't think it's enough, But that's great because the balance team at Blizzard didn't think it was enough either. They're nerfing Kazakusan as well, and they're reworking it to the battlecry says if you've played 4 other dragons this game, craft a custom deck of treasures. And I like this a lot because if Druid still wants to play it, they could run a couple of extra dragons. They already run a Nixia. They could run 3 more dragons and play Kazakusan at the end, but that would lower the consistency of Druid, and that's really what they're trying to hit. They're nerfing the draw, and they're nerfing the consistency of Kazakusan without gutting like their ability to fight aggro, their survivability, their defense. And they're not nerfing Earth and Scales or Scale of Nixia because Scale of Nixia coming out on turn 7 is like the perfect turn. If they have it turn 7 or 7 mana, they can come back, but an aggro deck with good burn damage can still win. So if you made Scale of Nixia cost 8, it might just be just too slow to beat aggro decks, and its win rate would drop a ton. So I like the fact that they're nerfing their alternative win conditions, right? Draw, big taunt minions, as well as Kazakusan. But it's also great because it still feels good in dragon decks because you have, you need to play 4 dragons, just flavor-wise, I think it feels better. And basically fulfilling a similar role to Deathstalker Rexar as an entire win condition in 1 card. Going into our balance meetings, we knew we wanted to soften Druid across all ranks, and there were multiple angles we could do this with. While we could be nerfing their survivability, we worry it would lead to a more polarizing metagame because aggro would just dominate it and there would be no greedy value decks left in the game. So we landed on Kazakusan's effect change would lead to healthier playstyles for Druid. We also wanted to make sure dragon-focused decks could still tap into Kazakusan as a powerful top end. And playing 4 dragons, although fairly hefty, should be achievable in most dragon strategies, which is true. And then the notable omission from this list is Demon Hunter. It was not nerfed at all, which is actually fair because control decks did really well, at least in my experience with Control Paladin, Priest, and Warrior, did very well against Token and Naga Demon Hunter because if you're able to heal up a decent amount of damage, they just can't really finish you off because again, most of their minions are small little tokens and a couple of powerful minions that if you deal with them, it should be fairly easy to win the game. Fel Demon Hunter could be stronger because you're able to get extra value out of him now because the greed from Ramp Druid isn't enough to just win the game anymore. So you have a little bit more time with Fel Demon Hunter. So that might see a little bit of a bump. But with control decks being probably stronger after Ramp Druid nerfs because that was the main reason control decks weren't playable. And Quest Warrior getting infinite value turn 7. So with those 2 things being nerfed, I actually think that control decks should be able to handle Demon Hunter pretty well. And the win rate of Demon Hunter will just drop in general. Do I think it'll drop a ton? No, I think it'll still remain like a top 5 deck for Token and or Naga Demon Hunter, but it will drop in my opinion. And then the last thing is good luck to Master Store competitors on your preparation, and I hope you enjoy Voyage to the Sunken City, or keep enjoying. And I think these nerfs are pretty spot on. I think they're pretty solid. Do I think that they're perfect? Actually close to it, yeah. I wish they nerfed the Shark just because of how problematic and, not problematic, but frustrating it is in Mech Mage. But I also understand that Mech Mage's win rate has fallen off, and I'll just have to deal with that my own frustration when it comes to that card. But yeah, other than that one thing with the Mech Shark, or Mecho Shark, I think that these nerfs basically hit everything. I think if you touched Nourish or Scale of Onyxia, that would hurt Druid too much, and it would kill it entirely, so it's good that they didn't touch those things. Demon Hunter, like I said, will probably lower win rate as more control decks come in. Druid, they addressed some pretty good things, and it's not like Druid doesn't have win conditions, right? Even though they don't have Kazakusan, replace Kazakusan with a Battleground Battlemaster, and win the game like old Quest Warlock with the 2 Flesh Giants. Get 2 free 8/8 Giants out, give them Wind Fury the next turn, and that's 32 damage, which is pretty good. So they still have ways of winning for sure. And yeah, I'm pretty happy and excited for these changes.